Today I want to propose something radical, something that doesn't rely on faith or mysticism, but on logical deduction grounded in the principles of science itself. I want to argue that you, the specific conscious awareness watching this video, are immortal. Not because of a soul leaving the body, but because the very nature of reality, when followed to its logical conclusion, dictates that your exact consciousness must arise again. Think about your own beginning. Before you were born, an unimaginable expanse of time unfolded, 13.8 billion years since the Big Bang, and perhaps an eternity before that. Stars lived and died. Galaxies formed. What did that feel like to you? Nothing. It was instantaneous. Then, suddenly, existence. My argument today is that this incredible leap from non-existence to existence isn't a one-off miracle. It's a consequence of fundamental truths about reality, suggesting that the gap between death and life is instantaneous. Step 1. Something must be eternal. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's a matter of logical necessity. Consider the origin of our universe. The prevailing scientific theory is the Big Bang, an incredibly hot, dense state that rapidly expanded. Okay, fair enough. But the unavoidable question follows. What caused the Big Bang? If you say something else caused it, then what caused that something else? And what caused the cause before that? You see the problem. You fall into an infinite regress, a never-ending chain of causes going backward forever. It means nothing could ever truly start, because its cause would still be waiting on its cause, ad infinity. The only logical way to stop this infinite backward chain is to posit that something, at the absolute base of reality, that doesn't require a prior cause. Something that is fundamental, uncaused, and eternal. It simply is and always was. Most scientists believe something triggered the Big Bang, whether it's a larger eternal universe or just fluctuations in quantum vacuum, perhaps even infinite multiverses, higher dimensional causality, or even God. All these point to one thing. Our universe may not have been eternal, but existence itself has to be eternal. Interestingly enough, it is believed that our universe will be eternal now that it does exist. Even after the heat death, it will persist. It had a beginning, but will have no end as far as science can tell. But frankly, the specific nature of this eternal foundation isn't crucial for this argument. What is crucial is that something fundamental must have and always will exist. Step 2, what does this eternal existence allow? We know with absolute certainty one incredibly complex and specific thing it allows. You. Consciousness. Your awareness, your thoughts, your unique subjective experience. The specific, mind-bogglingly complex arrangement of matter, energy, quantum states, neural connections, whatever it is that generates your consciousness, is a possible configuration within the rules of this reality. Think about how improbable that might seem from the outside. Random forces through cosmic evolution would lead to you. And yet, despite any apparent odds, here you are. So the possibility of you existing isn't zero. We're living proof of this. Step 3, eternity plus possibility equals inevitable recurrence. What happens when you combine infinite opportunities with any event that has a non-zero chance of occurring? It becomes a statistical certainty. Not just that it might happen, but that it will happen. And not just once, but infinitely many times over eternal timescales. It's like the famous thought experiment of infinite monkeys typing randomly on infinite typewriters. Given enough time, they wouldn't just type gibberish. They would eventually type every single book ever written, including the complete works of Shakespeare, word for word, purely by chance. Maybe the particles that make you up now decay over trillions of years? Irrelevant in eternity. The underlying eternal quantum fields provide the raw potential for new particles to form, for energy to coalesce. The building blocks are eternally available. The dice keep rolling, forever. Think about the ultimate future of our universe according to current cosmology, heat death. A vast, cold, dark expanse where everything has spread out, cooled down, and reached maximum entropy. Stars have burned out, black holes evaporated over unimaginable timescales. It seems like a definitive end, but even in this seemingly dead void, the universe isn't truly static. In fact, even if all of the particles were to decay after trillions of years, and the universe dies of heat death, quantum mechanics tells us that, quote, empty space is actually a fizzing soup of quantum fields. Tiny fluctuations happen constantly, virtual particles popping in and out of existence. Now, stretch that over infinite time. While incredibly rare by random chance, a quantum fluctuation could occur that's large enough to concentrate enough energy in one region to reach conditions similar to those before the Big Bang, triggering a new pocket universe, essentially igniting a new Big Bang from the ashes of the old. It sounds like science fiction, but many scientists theorize that this might be how our universe came to be. Though this will involve energy scales and conditions far beyond what we can test, the core principle remains. If it's governed by probability and quantum randomness, and you have infinite time, even the most improbable events become possible, even inevitable. And that's just one possibility. Other cosmological models embrace cosmic recurrence more directly. Some theories propose the universe doesn't end in heat death, but eventually stops expanding, contracts back down into a big crunch, and then bounces into a new Big Bang, potentially repeating this cycle forever. Models like chaotic eternal inflation suggest our Big Bang was just one bubble forming in a larger, eternally inflating, quote, metaverse. In this scenario, new universes are constantly budding off, effectively guaranteeing infinite universes and infinite opportunities for all possibilities to manifest somewhere, sometime. But perhaps the most compelling point is simpler. We know a universe like ours can happen. The mechanism that triggered our Big Bang, whatever it was, whether a quantum fluctuation, a collision of membranes in higher dimensions, or something utterly beyond our current grasp. If the fundamental something that allows universes to begin is eternal, as logic strongly suggests, then the conditions or triggers for universe creation remain an eternal possibility. Whether a new universe sparks outside our current spacetime in some larger reality, or arises directly from that fundamental eternal substrate that preceded ours, almost everything points to the potential for a cosmic reset being there. This makes the reappearance of specific complex patterns within those universes, like your consciousness, seem more like an expected feature of an eternally dynamic reality. There's also Boltzmann brains, the idea that in a universe undergoing heat death, random fluctuations should assemble a functioning brain, complete with false memories hallucinating your entire existence. Now finally addressing the big objection, is it really you? Even if a perfect physical replica of me appears at Googleplex years from now, how can that possibly be me? My consciousness is here, tied to this body, this continuous stream of experience. Think about identical twins. They start from the same genetic code, incredibly similar physically, yet they are distinct individuals with separate minds, separate feelings, separate consciousness. If I were to create a perfect atom-for-atom clone of you right now, you wouldn't suddenly experience the world from two bodies. If your original body were then destroyed, you wouldn't just wake up in the clone. It feels like your specific thread of consciousness would simply end, and the clone would just be a copy, starting its own identical thread. It may feel like you and see the world as you see it, and experience colors, joys, and pains as you do, but would remain separate from you. You would not feel their pain or joy other than, perhaps, through empathy. But this suggests personal consciousness requires some kind of continuity, physical, psychological, or maybe something more. Does replication break that continuity, meaning the future being isn't truly you? We first have to consider what consciousness might fundamentally be. It's strongly suggested by biology and neuroscience that consciousness arises entirely from physical processes in the brain, an emergent property of complexity and deep connection. Think of consciousness like incredibly complex software. This software, your personality, memories, awareness, runs on the hardware of your brain. Now, if you take a piece of software and copy it bit for perfect bit onto identical hardware, what do you have? Is it a copy of the software, or is it the same software, just running on a different machine? Most would say it is the same software. It functions identically, performs the same tasks, and contains the same information. If consciousness is the result of the intricate pattern of neural connections, firing sequences, chemical balances, and even quantum states within your brain, then perfectly replicating that pattern replicates the consciousness. So why don't twins share minds? Why wouldn't you feel your clone's experience? Connection, or rather, the lack thereof. They are physically separate systems. Their complex patterns are running independently, not networked together. Two identical computers running the same program don't share processing unless you physically link them. This idea opens up fascinating possibilities. If we truly understood the neural code, could we upload a mind? Could future technology theoretically bridge the gap between consciousnesses? These are sci-fi thought experiments, but they reinforce the core principle. If consciousness is physical and pattern-based, the barrier between instances is physical separation, not some fundamental difference in identity. That future being, assembled by the probabilities of an eternal existence, running the exact same conscious pattern as you are now, it isn't just a copy. It is another instance of you, because that's what the pattern dictates. The identity lies in the operational pattern, not the transient atoms. If you're reborn with your consciousness, you might not have the memories you have now, but you will still feel like you, just as if you have amnesia. You still feel like you, even if you can't remember stuff about you. Your memories don't make your conscious experience. What you did last month on a Wednesday isn't what makes you you. Now, finally, you might say that rebirth might not bridge this lack of connection. If you go under anesthesia and your consciousness is turned off and you wake up, is there a continuum or a continuous stream of consciousness between the you before your consciousness was turned off and the you after your consciousness turns back on? The only connection is the memories. It's similar to before your birth, before your consciousness ever turned on. I think anesthesia can be similar to this with the memories. And perhaps this is a final cop-out answer, but if there's a technology we can build to connect to your consciousness, then given an infinite amount of time, you will come to live in a universe where that technology exists, or it might even exist just by pure chance. You might never think that out there in the universe you will go and randomly find a high-end laptop that was created by random forces, and yet we are more complicated than laptops, and the universe apparently randomly created us, so the universe itself might naturally eventually breach the gap between consciousnesses, given infinite time and infinite tries. Though I do admit this is the place where I am most uncertain, and I welcome everyone to help explore this theory further and see if we could find an answer. But now, we arrive at perhaps the most profound implication. What would this recurrence feel like? Consider again the time before your birth. Billions upon billions of years. An unimaginable duration. Yet you didn't experience it as a long, dark wait. From your perspective, the moment before you gained awareness and the moment you had awareness were effectively back to back. There was no subjective you to experience the interval. The same principle applies after death. When your current consciousness ceases, the physical pattern dissolves. Then, across the vast gulfs of time, trillions of years, quadrillions, numbers so large they defy imagination, the eternal dance of matter and energy continues. Universes might die and be reborn. Eventually, inevitably, the exact physical configuration that is you reassembles. In that instant of reassembly, your consciousness reignites. From your subjective viewpoint, time will become meaningless. What happened between the lights out of your previous death and the lights on of this rebirth will be instantaneous. So putting it all together, logic demands an eternal foundation for reality. Your current existence proves your consciousness is a possible configuration within that reality. Eternal existence provides infinite opportunities, making the recurrence of any possibility an inevitability. If consciousness is tied to physical patterns, then a perfect replica is another instance of that same consciousness. And subjectively, the gap between these instances, no matter how long objectively, feels instantaneous. Though I do believe in a higher power for reasons I can go into another time, so I do not rule out spiritual consciousness or a soul. But whatever happens, this conscious awareness you possess is not a fleeting light destined for oblivion, but a potential state of the universe that must, by the laws of probability and eternity, shine again. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.